Hello, everyone. Glad to have you back. Remember, like and subscribe and check us out at Universal Accounting Center. Best place in the world. Get certified tax, bookkeeping, and advisory. Get coaches, help you build a business. All the things you need to have a wonderful career in this industry. So why are you here? Let's work on your listening skills, right? Let's have some fun today. Stop talking. Selling isn't telling, right? Most salespeople talk so much, it's insane. That's exactly why prospects don't trust them. The average salesperson, right, listens to respond. You're already thinking about things you want to say, okay? Elite salespeople listen to understand. That difference alone can multiply your income because, look, people don't buy when they feel pressured, okay? People buy when they feel understood. So today one of your biggest takeaways, I think, is the psychology of making another human being feel emotionally understood. Not fake, right? Not fake active listening, but real human psychology, the kind of skill that makes the prospect really, really trust you and open up emotionally and want to work with you. Okay, that is masterful communication. So, as always, make sure you grab a pencil and paper. My sales team's blowing me up, as always, right? Always here to have fun. So, Module 1, let's write this down. Why feeling understood is so important, okay? Why feeling understood is so important. So, in Module 1, understand that every human being wants three things. So, these three things are to feel significant, heard, and understood. Those would be, in no specific order, but those would be the three things that every human being wants, right? But most people will never experience this deeply. Think about it. Most conversations are people waiting for their turn to talk or interrupting, projecting, thinking ahead, defending themselves, trying to sound smart. Very few people truly listen, right? And that's why elite listeners become magnetic, because when someone feels understood, their nervous system relaxes, walls come down, trust increases, emotion opens up, and the sales happen naturally. The best closers in the world are not just persuasive, they're emotionally intelligent. All right? Module 2, the psychology of listening, right? Something that most salespeople never understand, especially in that early on phase. And even veterans, people who have been doing sales 20 years, I coach them, right? And all I hear is blah, 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 right? And it's insane, okay? Listening is not passive. Listening is leadership. Because when you deeply listen to someone, what you're doing is you're gathering and you're listening for emotional patterns, fears, desires, identity, pain, hesitation, motivation, self-image. The prospect is literally telling you how to close them. Okay, but most salespeople miss this because they're too busy thinking about the gosh darn script, right? And elite salespeople listen for, write this down, emotional words, repeated frustrations, changes in the tone. That voice octane got changes in it, right? Uncertainty, identity language, talking about who they are, their person, who they are as a human being, right? Hidden fears. For example, like if someone says, I just want stability for my family, that's not about bookkeeping, that's identity, that's protection, responsibility, fear, purpose, right? But you have to understand, elite closers hear below the words, okay? You have to always listen below the words, okay? And listen, and you're always looking for the why. Okay, and those are the things that help you identify the why. So, most people, let's go to Module 3. Title this, Most People Don't Want Solutions First. Most people don't want solutions first. So, most salespeople and people in the accounting industry, car sales industry, it really doesn't matter. Couple questions is typically what you'll get from them, and that's just terrible. Okay, and then you hit them with all these solutions. So this is advanced psychology, this module right here, because humans do not initially crave solutions. So when you're doing that, it's not good, right? What they do crave, offer it, right? They crave emotional validation. That's why prospects often reject solutions too early. You say something, you think you're solving it, and they're like, well, I don't actually want that. And you're like, dude, you literally just said this X, Y, and Z, right? So it becomes confusing. Well, it was too early on, right? Because emotionally they hadn't feel truly seen yet. So most salespeople hear pain and instantly pitch. An elite salesperson explores the pain a little bit deeper. I'm known for going into layers and layers and layers and layers, right? So here's an example typically of what you'll hear is they'll give a reason, and most salespeople or most accountants or car salespeople even, it doesn't matter what you sell. My stuff works for everything, but anyways, we can help with that, right? Oh, we can help with that. That's what you'll hear a lot of times. Well, actually go a little bit deeper. Hey, so like I always say confirm and expand so you can understand. So like how long has that been affecting you, Janet? Talk to me about that. Right, well, that's a massive difference, right? One skips emotion, the other enters emotion, and the emotion creates connection, all right? Module 4, the emotional depth framework. The emotional depth framework. This framework right here is stellar, okay? It's stellar. Most conversations, man, they're always so surface level. It's just terrible. Well, to be a master communicator, you have to go deeper layer by layer. All right, so here's an example for you. I know you guys love when I give these examples. So you'll hear, I'm just stressed financially, right? And then what happens is most reps will actually skip past that, which is insane. Elite reps go deeper. What's been the hardest part about that? Talk to me about that. Then they'll go deeper. How does that affect your confidence? Then go deeper. What would changing this mean for your family? Now the conversation becomes emotional. It's real. It's human. And once emotion appears, trust appears. Isn't that funny? Right? Once I've got them to have some darn skin in the game, that's when trust appears. All right. So module 5. Module 5. Why people trust good listeners. Why people trust good listeners. Humans associate understanding with safety. Okay. This is biological psychology. If someone understands us, our brain lowers defense mechanisms, okay? That's like, for example, that's why therapists, great leaders, really good closers, and charismatic people all share one thing, is they make people feel emotionally safe. So not judged, not rushed, and not sold, but most importantly, understood. Okay, so that's why calm energy dominates in sales, right? Come into my circle, make you feel heard and understood, trust, build a best friend in 10 minutes, all of those things. Calm energy dominates the sale. That's why I always say in my videos, you got to train like a lion and then sell like a lamb, okay? Let's move to module 6. Remember this, emotional safety creates openness, okay? Module 6, how elite salespeople listen. How elite salespeople listen. Now, what I'm going to do right here is to give you a nice 4-step system that you can follow when you're listening to people. Okay, so not many people teach you how to listen. Well, I always say I'm going to teach you for free what people will charge you thousands for. So, there's an actual system for it, okay? I'm going to teach you. So, number 1 is, and this is module 6, by the way. Number 1 is they don't interrupt, okay? Interrupting destroys emotional flow. Let people finish. Silence is everything. Okay, sometimes the real truth comes 3 seconds after they stop talking. All right? Most reps ruin it by jumping in too early. When I say they, I mean the salesperson. Okay? Just hold the gates back. You know, we have this cool thing called whisper mode, and I can actually talk to just the salesperson. And especially in negotiation, it's huge. Got my darn cat hanging out with me today, driving me crazy. But anyway, I'll literally say to him, ask this question and stop talking. And I can feel my sales reps wanting to go. And I'm like, no, don't say anything, don't say anything yet. And what ends up happening is that silence will end up making the person talk, the prospect talk. So you never want to jump in too early. I know it's really difficult, but just trust me on it. I've been in enough deals where you just got to take my experience for it, right? You'd rather have the lessons without the scars. So Anyways, the next thing is they mirror language. If a prospect says, this is the step 2 in listening to people, they mirror language. Guys, if a prospect says, I feel overwhelmed, don't say, so you're frustrated. Use their words. Use it, guys. Here's just a mere example for you. So, you've been feeling overwhelmed lately. That creates subconscious alignment. So, humans trust familiarity. So, look what I did right there. I literally said, so you've been feeling overwhelmed lately? And my tone has a question tone to it. Boom, yeah, and they're going to start talking. Man, who's selling who, right? But more importantly, they feel heard and understood. So humans trust familiarity. And what that does is it creates subconscious alignment, right? The next step in good listening, okay? The third thing, this is probably the most important thing, is you have to listen for identity. Identity is everything, okay? Here are some things you need to listen for. I want to provide. I'm tired of struggling. I want freedom. I want respect. I don't feel confident. Those are identity clues. The deeper the identity pain, the stronger the buying emotion. So the next step is they slow down. Average reps rush. Elite communicators create space. People open emotionally when they don't feel rushed, right? Your pacing affects the entire emotional environment. Let's go to Module 7, right? The biggest mistake salespeople make, I would say it's trying to sound smart and impressive. If you do that, it's just so weird, okay? You're making it strange. Understand this, that your job is to try to make the other person feel important. That changes everything. Because people don't remember your features, your script, your pitch. They remember how you made them feel. And when someone feels deeply understood, they emotionally attach to you. Alright, Module 8. Module 8. Advanced communication techniques. Let's roll. This one. I'm going to go through a few here. This one right here is called the labeling technique. The labeling technique. Okay, here's an example. It sounds like you're carrying a lot of pressure right now. This helps people feel emotionally recognized. Sounds like you're carrying a lot of pressure right now. The pausing technique. After someone says something emotional, I want you to pause. Don't rush. Silence communicates respect. The clarification technique. Look how simple all this stuff is. A lot of times it's just a simple shift in language, and your income shoots through the door. The clarification technique. Hey, so if I understand correctly, repeat back to them in your words what they just said to you. This shows care and precision. All right. The next thing, the future identity question. The future identity question. And if you're not writing these down, shame on you, by the way. Whose fault is that? Right? Your fault. Whose paycheck is it? Your paycheck. Whose paycheck are you hurting? Your paycheck. All right, the next thing, the future identity question. What would life feel like if this problem was solved? This moves emotions toward possibility. Next module, Module 9, the deepest sales truth. Sales is not about convincing. It's about understanding people deeply enough that the right decision becomes obvious. Now that right there, that's elite sales. The reason most people fail at this, guys, is because there's too focused on themselves. The darn script, the darn commission, anxiety, their next line, and what they're going to say. Projecting what you're going to say too much. It's terrible when you do that kind of crap. Look, I want you to understand this. When you become deeply curious about people, actually what happens is your entire sales ability changes, because what ends up happening is now you stop trying to win conversations and start understanding people. And that's a huge difference. And actually care about people. And actually care about solving their problems. And you should be warm and loving. And you may be authoritative with your speech, your tone, and you may be strict and stern and those kinds of things, but ultimately you should be coming in here with a warm heart, and you should be listening with intent to truly solve their family's problems, their business problems. I mean, the reason you want to learn all of these skills at a high level is so that you can help people advance farther in life, and that's the beauty of sales. So anyway, here's the last module. I really wouldn't call this a module. It's just kind of something I'd like to end the video on, actually. Look, the highest paid communicators in the world all understand this truth, that people open up to those who make them feel understood. It's called leadership. It's called influence and trust. So if you can master those skills, you'll become dangerous in business, dangerous in sales, leadership, relationships, and life. Because in a world where everyone wants to be heard, the person who truly listens becomes unforgettable. And you want to be unforgettable. You want to be uncommon in a common world. So if you want more elite sales psychology, communication, mastery, client acquisition, all that fun stuff, you already know what to do. Look, technical skill gets attention, but emotional intelligence always closes the big deal. So, hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the video.